sculpture or classical sculpture. And that'll go from the Greeks through the Etruscans and all the way to the Romans. And we'll kind of do it crash course style. So here we go. Remember, the Greeks invent democracy. There's the agora, and the sculpture is going to follow the theme of democracy. So there's the Greek city-state, the polis, where the agora is down here, and the Acropolis would be the sacred site up on the hill. And a couple themes there of Greece is freedom, free citizens, and individualism, because democracy requires free people to rule themselves. So that's a theme that's going to go through their sculpture. All right, the other big theme is humanism. That's the idea that man is the measure. That just means that we focus on what humans can do. It doesn't mean they don't have gods or they don't care, or that other cultures don't care about people, but the Greek focus is on what humans do. All right, so for the styles, there's the archaic style, and all of the sculpture is going to become more and more naturalistic. So it is somewhat naturalistic, but it will become more naturalistic as we proceed. So that's the archaic smile, and then our guy is the kouros, anavasos, kouros. These were grave markers, and they are the beginning of the ideal human. Then there's the peplos kore, and she's the female version, and she was a goddess. You want to pay a lot of attention to the female works of art. They tend to come up on the test quite a bit, but also archaic, naturalistic, the archaic smile, but she'll be clothed. Then we'll get to Doryphoros, and and you want to know him really, really well. Doryphoros is going to be classical, and classical is going to be basically lifelike, but even better than lifelike, ideal, and a contrapposto makes him look alive. And that's Doryphoros. He's perfect, perfect skin, perfect body. Sometimes his face is described as severe because he's very rational, as opposed to the archaic smile. He's naturalistic and severe. And don't forget the canon of Polykleitos of ideal proportions, and that's the mathematical perfection. Math is perfect, people are perfect. Doryphoros. Also the theme of self-control or rationality, or ethos over pathos of self-control. We'll come back to painting later. Grave steel is also classical in the sense that it is naturalistic, ideal. This one has a bit more pathos because there's a moment here that you can feel, but it is still classical. Just look at the body. If it looks natural, it's classical. Then on the Parthenon, there's some sculpture we'll come to later, but you want to be aware of anything on the Parthenon is also classical. So that's got natural form, and this is on the pediment, and again, it is classical. And the gods look classical. They look natural, they look ideal, they look elegant. There's the three goddesses. This confuses people. That's classical because it's emphasizing form, not movement. All right, also at the Parthenon is the plaque of Ergastines. Remember, these are regular people. The Greeks have elevated humans, regular humans, to high art. They look like statues, they look like columns, they look elegant. These are the citizens, again, the elevation of a regular person of Greek culture. All right, Temple of Athena Nike is another one. And then remember, Temple of Athena Nike is at the Acropolis. It's the gateway to the Acropolis here, and there's a sculpture there, Nike adjusting sandal. Again, not movement, but form. The drapery emphasizes her body. All right, now we're going to jump to, so we got archaic, classical, Hellenistic. And so now we'll go to Hellenistic, Nike of Samothrace, seated boxer, and Athena battling the giants. The theme here, remember, is, do I have it here? It's got the theme of pathos or emotion, movement, dynamic, diagonal lines, and all of these have more emotion, there's more dynamic, and it's got more movement. They are all Hellenistic. All right, then staying with sculpture, let's go to the Etruscans. The Etruscans were a group of very artistic people that would be conquered by the Romans, but you have sarcophagus of the spouses. And if you look here, it tends to look archaic with an archaic smile, but they had a lot of funerary art. And they had temples, the Etruscans, but they put sculpture on the roof of the temple. That's the difference. And here's their Apollo. And yes, he looks archaic smile, and he just tends to look more archaic than classical. All right, we're going to jump to the Romans right now, and there's two phases. There's the Republic and the Empire. In the Republic, it was more like senators, and you have stuff like head of Roman patrician, emphasizing a man, a tough man, a real man, a warrior, not ideal like the Greeks, but gravitas, tough, wise, the Roman Republic that ruled an empire. And this would be funerary. This would be for ancestor worship. Now we'll jump to the empire. And when you have the empire, you're going to get Augustus of Prima Porta, the first emperor. He would be like a king, whereas the republic is more like the Senate. This is Augustus. He's the first emperor. And Rome is going to have 200 years of peace called Pax Romana. And he's going to say that he is the reason for it. This is propaganda. He did not look like this. In fact, they copied Doryphoros. In fact, they appropriate Doryphoros because the Greeks were so great and amazing. He's saying, look, I am great and amazing too. Look at me, I'm like Doryphoros. And this would be around the year zeros, the beginning of the Roman Empire, Augustus of Prima Porta. Then the Romans did many, many great things. Trajan conquers the Romanians. This is the column of Trajan. And this is, of course, propaganda, emphasizing what Trajan had done. Then at the end, Rome will fall apart. You can see this with Ludovisi battle sarcophagus. Here you have the chaos of the Roman Empire falling apart. You've got the emperor in there. You have the bearded Goths down here. But if you look here, this shows chaos and the end of Rome, whereas this one shows the rise of Rome. Okay, a lot in there, but you want to know those basic types of sculpture: archaic, classical, Hellenistic, a little bit of the Etruscans, and then the Romans have Roman Republic and Roman Empire. All right, very good.